Welcome to the Fitness Plus Technology Podcast for club owners, operators, and fitness professionals. Each week, host Brian O'Rourke brings you an expert interview with a global influencer at the crossroads of fitness and technology. You gain the insights, tools, and inspiration you need to stay connected to the pulse for what matters most for your business in the age of exponential technologies.
Welcome to the Fitness Plus Technology Podcast. I'm your host, Brian O'Rourke. And this morning, we have a special guest, David Tillman with Service Channel. And the reason we brought David on the line today is to discuss service automation. Recently, Service Channel has announced partnerships with, on the service component, as well, Ecofit networks. And why we think exploring service automation with David is so relevant today is in my recent talks in our kind of basis of thinking what's going to separate the guru genius brands from others are going to be execution engines. And we see those execution engines as being collection of data, enterprise platforms, not siloed systems, but comprehensive enterprise platforms, automation, including AI, so taking that data, putting it into comprehensive systems, and then automating tasks and gaining insights from that data to, automate mundane, low-value transactions and interfaces, enabling personalization and other things. And then finally, being able to shift investment out of those mundane tasks through the efficiencies of these systems into human capital, touch points for people where it matters the most. And that those four things combined will really be a key differentiator. So I think service model and what they're doing across industry spaces demonstrates that we believe that this is going to become a bigger and bigger manner in which clubs and chains in particular deploy resources and manage their assets. So we really look forward to this talk, and I hope you enjoy it. And so without further ado, let's join David and I, David from Service Channel. Thanks. Welcome, everyone. As I mentioned, we have David Tillman from Service Channel. And as I've been talking about, this service automation component we've been talking about for some time. And across my presentations and some of the content we've done recently. And David has been kind enough to join us today to share more insights about Service Channel and what it means to the fitness industry and some of the other industries that Service Channel is working in today. So David, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys taking the time.
Well, great. So these key trends we've been exploring that I was referring to, and they're big data, including sensors to obtain that data, of course, enterprise platforms and automation. Can you share what you're seeing in other industries and how that pertains to these key trends and what Service Channel's doing?
Yeah, absolutely. On the fitness side, I can focus on the fitness side first and then expand out. On the fitness side, we know that there's about 66 million Americans that are using health clubs. Back in 2016, obviously that's growing over 36,000 health clubs. From a facilities management perspective, which is our key focus, our customers need to know the life cycles of these machines, particularly the owners, right, as well as the facilities. So as it relates to maintaining them as well as the uptime associated with it, and just the overall image of the club and the customer's experience. So in many cases, the facilities management teams have to actually go out and hire contractors on short notice and likely perform these tasks in a very short period of time. And where Service Channel is actually positioned is to enable them to do that either in an on ad hoc basis or on a preventative maintenance perspective using the application. But in the case, for example, with our most recent partnership that we've got with Ecofit, using IOT sensors, and I know, Brian, you had mentioned some of the new technology that's out there, some of these sensors are allowing us to actually take some of the alerts that are coming in and basically do a triage of what's going on which will determine whether or not somebody local can fix the issue, or if we need to roll a truck and we can roll that truck through the platform. From a broader perspective, we're in multiple different vertical markets, and what we're seeing is that the common theme is around efficiency and how can we take some of the manual aspects out of those tasks. By definition, we know that a lot of the facilities management activities are going to require manual activities, right? They're going to require contractors to come out and fix them. But there's ways that we can do to streamline some of those processes. And one of those cases, or one of those manners of doing it, is indeed our relationship with Ecofit, where a lot of times the sensors can actually detect a problem well before the owner actually may even know that there is an issue, and have somebody out there fixing the equipment before it becomes an issue for the club as a whole.
Yeah, that automation component and cost, especially at scale, when you're looking at larger chains, I mean, that can be significant. And that's why we think that automation of those kind of services is a strategic advantage for Genius Brands amongst a lot of consumer channels. So tell us, though, if you don't mind, David, tell us a little bit more about Service Channel and their history and what they're doing. And you alluded to a little bit of the appeal of the fitness space, but we're curious to learn about where this concept and business came from.
Yeah. So thank you for that. So we're actually a 17-year-old startup. We like to think of ourselves as that startup atmosphere. We've got about 500 active customers today, and more than 1 million contractors across 50,000 contractor organizations. So those contractors working within the orgs. The catalog itself reaches across 27 different countries, covering more than 70 different trades. So over the last several years, we've been aggressively updating and enhancing the platform with the technologies that we've been talking about, to include IoT, but really refreshing the platform and making sure that it's more mobile ready, for example. But what it also means is we're able to focus on other vertical markets that historically we were only focused on, for example, retail or restaurants. But by expanding some of the footprint and expanding the technology and enhancing it, it's allowing us to go beyond that and start to look at multiple location opportunities. And gyms fit really, very, very well in that space.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the last year we took some investment capital money from a company by the name of Excel Ventures, based out of Palo Alto, which is helping us to fuel some of that growth as well.
That's awesome. And you had mentioned, the idea of Ecofit, for example, is providing you data through sensors. What other applications of big data are you applying? And tell us a little bit more about that in your business model.
Yeah, so from a big data perspective, the benefit that we've got of being in the business for as long as we have is we've been collecting data based off of key performance index or identifiers such as how quickly a truck is getting there or a contractor is getting to the site, how well they're performing, cost structures. So we're able to leverage other partnerships that we've got, for example, with a company called Good Data, that is allowing us to go in and do some analysis to find out buying trends. So, for example, as you look at invoices that are coming in, we're able to basically put parameters around some of those invoices and identify only those activities that are outside the boundaries. And what that allows you to do is really make sure that the things that are coming in on a normal basis, you can in essence approve or reject, or also identify to research at more length. So they're outside of those boundaries, but the technology through big data is allowing us to do that. The IoT piece is becoming even more interesting, right? Because the space has historically been pretty fragmented, but it's starting to become more and more real as far as the use cases are concerned. And in the case, for example, with Ecofit, They've got the sensors on the machines that are allowing the gym owners to better manage the equipment. And in their particular case, if something does indeed go wrong, we have that handshake with Ecofit so that we know electronically we can send a truck in a relatively quick fashion, but track that truck all the way through to them coming on site, to closing the work order, to marrying it up to the invoice, and all the way through the payment stream. One of the other things that we've been focusing on is around customer safety and owner safety. And really what we mean about that is we're able to do background checks, for example, on some of the customers, or not customers, but contractors that are coming in, and in certain cases actually have pictures of the individual that's coming into the site so that the gym owner and the members know exactly who that person is and that they're supposed to be there.
Wow, I hadn't thought about that, because when you think about it, some of our listeners, they may have a gym or two, a smaller, or some maybe a small chain, and there are all kinds of benefits to the service automation dynamic. So you mentioned a few. One is knowing what you're spending for what, having information to make sure the equipment is up for risk mitigation, for user experience quality. The security thing you're mentioning, which I hadn't thought of at all. That's a good idea. What other reasons should companies be interested in a service like this and service automation through ServiceChannel?
It's primarily around that efficiency, right? It's being able to know that the platform is taking some of the labor out of, or the manual aspects out of managing the facility. And it's really about the brand management. So if you think about all of the different trades that are in a facility, in a gym, whether it's janitorial versus the folks that are fixing a treadmill, all of those things can indeed be rolled into ServiceChannel and is in ServiceChannel today. So the owner can use a mobile app, or they can use one of the online devices, so they can go into an application off of a laptop or off of a computer as well, but electronically go through and service or trigger service or preventative maintenance on a regular basis. A lot of the things that we're seeing trend-wise as well is there's a lot of focus around energy and energy management. So we've also got partnerships with EMS players, or energy management system players, that are focused on how do you better manage your utility bills or your HVAC usage. And HVAC is huge as far as cost structure is concerned. And again, we talked a little bit about sensors, but a lot of these sensors now are able to do very similar things of flagging where there's issues, so that you can have somebody going out and maintaining that equipment, or making sure that if it's down, it's not down for very long, and the comfort level of your customer base is always at a peak.
Yeah, automating the management of those things and shaving cost, especially in a market that gets more competitive. When you systematize those things, you can manage them much more easily. It makes a lot of sense. So David, where do you see these types of platforms going when you talk about automation, sensors, data, the things you described? Do you see, what is ServiceChannel thinking, 3 and 5 years down the line? Is there any other innovation that you're expecting to show up in the marketplace with services that a ServiceChannel-like company would provide?
Yeah, the path that we're going down is obviously updating the platform, or continuing to update the platform with the newer technologies that are out there. But the path that I personally am tasked with is around alliances and partnerships, with the idea that the platform itself is just that. It's a platform, but we're looking at partnerships that are subject matter experts that can plug into that platform, and rather than do a jack of all trades, master of none, you have a solid platform with folks that have subject matter expertise in different segments that can plug into the platform through APIs, so that the systems all talk together and they all knit together from a partnership perspective. So our path is more of a better together type of an approach, knowing that IoT devices are indeed going to be a pretty big part of the future going forward. But APIs need to be developed such that all of these different devices can talk to each other, and basically all of these workflows can then plug in, and using ServiceChannel as that common platform.
That makes sense. And I'm sure that having more and more users of the platform, to your points from before, gives greater and greater insights into the data that matters, right? And so you can start even perhaps through adoption, understand KPIs that you might not have even been able to know about before, because at least everything is now collecting data, automating it. You have visibility throughout the need and delivery of service. And that enables you to measure things that particularly, I'd imagine, at scale are very hard to do for a chain, let alone a small unit operator, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing. The technology allows you to do benchmarking, and it allows you to go back and find trends. And again, it's about cost and efficiency, right? And using the technology to work smarter for both the business as well as the customer.
Yeah, we had a very interesting panel at the URSA conference in San Diego last week that I participated on AI and the notion of data. And there's so many biases we bring to the table thinking that we know, but without having a lot of data to show you, you wouldn't know otherwise. So insights, you can gain a lot of insights that you thought you might have that aren't necessarily relevant. And that's the good thing about data. It doesn't lie. So
Exactly.
David, you were kind enough with ServiceChannel to recently join the Fitness Industry Technology Council. We thank you for that. Why did you decide to become part of FITSE?
So it was kind of a no-brainer, to be honest. You guys are the primary technology bot in that space, and the logical decision was indeed to join. We're a platform. We're a SaaS-based platform. And the solid background that we've got is indeed in technology. So as far as joining FITSE, again, it was a natural play or a natural opportunity for us to join. And also, I know that the community that you've got is tremendous. And again, trying to share the technology and share some of the abilities to reduce costs and eliminate some of that efficiency is also an attractive opportunity for us. And things such as this podcast are great, right? So I know that you've got a great following as far as this community on these podcasts. So it's an opportunity to get the message out, which is ideal. So again, a no-brainer to join.
Well, thank you for doing that. And David, you announced you had mentioned about strategic partners. You announced something with Ecofit, and I believe you all had a big operator in the States recently enter an agreement with you as well. I believe, isn't that true? 24-hour with you? No?
Yeah, we did. We're very excited about that. As a matter of fact, that came out, I believe, a week back. So a lot of things were happening last week.
Yeah.
Obviously, the partnership, the joining FITSE as well, obviously, as well as 24-hour. Plus, we've got a handful of other very strong gyms that are out there as well that are ServiceChannel customers. So it's definitely an exciting time, and we're looking forward to continuing to go into that marketplace and show what we can do for folks.
Yeah. Well, Frank Napolitano is a friend, and is a president over there. We know many of their leadership over 24-hour. They're smart people. So it's really great when you see these trends. You talk about trends like I do, and I know you think about a ServiceChannel. Then you see those things appear in the marketplace. That's why it's great for people to listen to podcasts, because the idea of automation and platforms around services is relatively new to the space. But for the reasons that we discussed during our time together, I think they're very real, and they're going to become a mainstream and mainstay of how you manage service. So when you see a 24-hour, when you see an Ecofit, and I know others will be joining you soon, we know that trend isn't a trend. It's a reality now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's an exciting time, and we're looking forward to moving forward into and chatting with as many people as we can.
So, David, we know David Tillman, Tillman, with Service Channel. I know I've connected with you on LinkedIn. I know there's a lot that Service Channel offers to the industry space. How can people reach out and learn more about Service Channel? I know we'll have some things in the show notes, but if there's anything you'd like to share on reaching out to you to connect and learn more, let our listeners know.
Yeah, so there's actually a couple of different ways. Obviously, you can reach out to me directly through LinkedIn, or my email at Service Channel is dtillman@servicechannel.com. Or if you want to get direct information into the product itself, it's servicechannel.info, and that will bring you right into the site. And I know that we've got some user videos that will play out the different modules that we've got, as well as the value that we believe that we bring to both the customer as well as the industry as a whole.
That's great, David. As we've been talking about for some years now, automation is coming into the industry space in health clubs and fitness, and Service Channel is an example of that. So, David Tillman, thank you so much for making time. We really appreciate you and Service Channel being part of FITSE and making time for the podcast.
Very good. Thank you. I appreciate you guys taking the time as well.
Thanks, David. Bye.
Hi, everyone. This is Brian O'Rourke again. Thanks for listening to the podcast today. I hope you enjoyed it. The podcast is brought to you by the Fitness Industry Technology Council, as well as my company, Videri Ventures, Moon Mission Media, and others. We hope you enjoyed the content. Please feel free to share it and join us again soon when we bring to you another leader in the fitness space talking about technology and what it means to our industry. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you again very soon.